Hello everybody and welcome back to the garden. Actually today I'm in my garden kitchen. I have a wheelbarrow full of apples. So let's do some preserving. Let's go. And this is my setup for today. I have my apples, I have my juicer. I got quite a large container for apple juice. I think I'm overestimating the amount of juice I'm gonna get from it. But that's the way I'm gonna be preserving my apples today. I'm gonna make juice out of all of them. Most of it probably gonna be turned into a apple wine, a cider. So stay tuned till end of the video. I'll show you how I do it. Some of it I might put in bottles and pasteurize. I'm not quite sure. It's getting quite late already. It's after 5. I don't have that much time today. So juice is optional. I might slice a couple of apples and dehydrate them later on in my dehydrator, but that's questionable as well. It all depends on how quick my juicing gonna go. But first of all, let's make some juice. I have my juicer. You can use any juicer or apple press. It doesn't really matter. Just processing the apples, turning them into a juice, and then with the juice you can do whatever you like. So without further ado, let's do some juicing. All right, so first of all, I need to make the apple pieces a bit smaller. I could fit in small-ish apple into a juicer straight away, but I think it's better to cut it and then feed it into a juicer. All the smaller ones you can put straight away. So I just realized with all this juicing noise, I can't really talk to you. So let me continue with the juicing. I'm probably gonna put it on a time lapse and I'll see you back here when I finish processing most of the apples. Okay, so that is taking much longer than I expected. I'm losing the sunlight already. I'm gonna continue with the juicing indoors. I already got about 9 liters of juice. So I think by the time I go through rest of that apples, I'm gonna have roughly 20 liters of juice, which is perfect for the containers I have. But anyway, let me continue all the juicing indoors and I'll catch you up later on and show you what I'm gonna do with the juice. And I'm back. It's the next day. I managed to juice all the apples from the wheelbarrow. It took way much more time than I expected. The juice is much slower than I thought. But at the end of the process, I got 15 liters of juice, which is not that bad really. I'm gonna process all of it into a cider. That's the easiest way I can do it. The gala apples just behind you, they're gonna be turned into juice and dehydrated apples. They are much sweeter than the bunch I was working with yesterday and today. So we're gonna make some cider. It's the easiest thing you can really do with your apple juice. All you need is your juice, obviously, and demijohn with the L-lock on top. I've got some pipe as well to make it easier for myself, siphon off the juice from the bucket. So let's make some cider. So there's nothing to it, just transfer some juice into a demijohn. And here we are, one demijohn full of apple juice, ready to become a cider. I'm gonna leave it in a conservatory if it's gonna stay warm for another month. That's how long I think it's gonna take for the apple juice to ferment and produce cider. At this stage you can add some sugar to the juice if it's not sweet enough and you want a stronger cider. Besides, what's the difference between cider and apple wine? I think it's the same thing. Anyway, so I tried the juice already. It's quite sweet on its own, so I'm not going to be adding any more sugar. But if you want to, the more sugar you add, the stronger the end product going to be. And as I said, I think it's going to take a month, maybe 2 months, depending on the temperature. And remember, when you're doing that, leave yourself enough headspace on the top of the demijohn, because when it starts fermenting, it's going to start bubbling. It might come out. And that's all there is to it, really. The easiest way to preserve your apples for winter. That's going to be a lovely Christmas drink. And here we are. I made 3 demijohns, that's 15 liters of apple wine, cider, if you want to. As I said before, I'm gonna store it in a conservatory. You can store it anywhere really, as long as it's warm enough. The warmer it is, the faster it's fermenting. And the second thing to remember is the more sugar you add to the juice, the stronger alcohol content gonna be at the end. Also, if you want to have a fizzy drink before it's finishing the fermentation, when it doesn't bubble that much anymore, you can bottle it and it's going to continue fermenting inside the bottle, locked bottle, producing more CO2. That's how you're going to get fizzy cider. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I think I prefer normal apple wine than sparkly cider. We'll see. And as I said before, the gala apple just behind you gonna be my apple tree and my apples for juicing and dehydration. They are much sweeter than those ones, so I think the end product gonna be nicer. But yeah, as you see, the easiest and quickest, well, not so quick, took me 2 days, but the easiest method of preserving your apple harvest is juicing and turning the juice into a wine, or pasteurizing the juice if you don't want to drink wine, and storing the juice like that. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. I'll see you back in the garden very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.